Hello, it is me, Pearl, from Pearl and the Prayers, and this is Tuned in Tarot. And we are here to take a look at the balance between the divine masculine and the divine feminine energy inside of self, understanding that whatever state we find this energy in, we can expect to see that reflected back to us in our interactions with others, in our external environment. And if we want to see change, we do need to shift and change the energy within. And hopefully, my readings help you to do just that. While I was doing the shuffle for my TikTok live stream, which is happening at the same time, so I may be looking over here and I might be looking over here at the YouTube. I was just talking about something that I had happened for me this morning that made me realize that I needed to change a little bit about how I do my readings, or at least how I receive my own readings. And basically, the what I was saying is that if you want to be with the person that you're listening to readings about, then you would have to get into the mindset that you're already with that person. And if that were the case, it's highly unlikely that you would continue to get readings about them the same type of reading, right? Like there might be certain questions in your mind that you still need advice about, but it would be really unlikely that you would be sitting there trying to find out when they were going to come back, or when they were going to actually communicate with you, or when they were going to actually propose to you, or any of those things. You would be in a mindset where it had already happened. So if you're listening to readings where you're not in that mindset, then the real information you're gathering is how far or close you are to the place where you already have the thing that you desire. And you should use the readings to basically take the temperature of where you're at, because this is the energy of your thoughts and your feelings, and your thoughts and your feelings are going to equal your reality. So you should listen to them as if you're already in that space, and that the things that you desire in that space are actually different from the things that you currently desire. And just see if that changes some of what happens for you in 3D, especially if you've been experiencing a lot of stagnation. So we are going to now look at the divine masculine energy, the energy of the mind, the intellect, taking action, the giving energy, and then the energy of the heart, which is the emotion, creativity, reception, our ability to receive information, abundance, creative ideas, inspiration. All of that is the feminine side. And your person that you're focused on is composed of both of those things. And right now, you're going to pretend today with me that you're already with that person, or a person. It doesn't have to be that exact person, but you're already with somebody that satisfies you, fills you up, makes you like, meets all of your needs. And you're going to imagine that you already have the wealth that you need. And you're going to listen to the reading as if you're receiving new things that you maybe you haven't even realized you need yet. That's the way you should listen to the reading today. And if you want to help me out, there's a couple ways you can support. Of course, go to the link in my profile. You will see the first thing that I would love for you to do. It's completely free. And if you take the step and do this for me, I will appreciate it so much. But there is a link to pre-save my track that comes out this Friday. I'm very excited to share it with you. And pre-saving it really helps the track to just ensure that it gets heard. So please go and take that initiative and pre-save. I don't know if you've heard. You will not be disappointed when you do get to listen to it. The next thing that you can do is you can send donations, Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, and I'm really in need. I only have $3 right now. I don't know why this happens to me, outside of the fact that I have that issue with being in receiving mode. And I guess I'm supposed to pretend that I'm not in need. So I'm not in need. You can donate if you feel so inclined. And there's also my friend Saliha has a GoFundMe campaign. If you can help her, she did get a job and she will be starting her job in July, but she has to make it through the rest of June. There's a couple weeks left, and she still needs help. So please go and help her if you can. Those are the ways that you can support. You can, of course, book private readings there. One-on-one calls are 50% off. And for a limited time, when you purchase one-on-one call, I will also give you a second call for free within 30 days of the first call. So go take advantage of that. I've never done that before. That means each reading is only $55 for a 60 to 90 minute call with me. So take advantage of that for sure. All right, let's get started. What are we seeing today? So, very interesting. If you saw the love reading yesterday, then you will remember this Knight of Pentacles. And I swapped the decks today. So now the vice versa tarot is in the headspace or the divine masculine energy. And the Tarot of Mystical Moments is now in the heart space or the divine feminine energy. So the overall energy of this week, we see the Knight of Pentacles with the Nine of Cups. And the Knight of Pentacles is solid, stable, reliable, steady. There is motion here, even if it's imperceptible. There is motion. Think of a plant growing, okay? Like it seems like nothing is happening, but obviously every so often you notice the plant has really grown until you're really surprised at how much growth you're actually seeing. So that's the energy of this week of we're not in any rush. We're recognizing the growth. We're seeing the growth. We're, I guess, giving ourselves credit and appreciating the growth. And then the Nine of Cups is about wish fulfillment. It can be about selfish energy. It can be about withholding and not really feeling great sharing. And the Knight of Pentacles coming with the Nine of Cups can sometimes indicate a person who has a hard time and is withholding something from you. So it can be a person that's like really not doing the most to share with you. Can be a frustrating experience to have that. Somebody that's not expressing their feelings, somebody that's not, you go out to dinner with them and they calculate down to the last cent so that it's exactly even for the both of you. Or even better, they expect you to pay and, they don't have anything to contribute. Stingy energy can come from these two cards when they're paired together. There is a feeling for me though that this isn't an energy that's uncomfortable. It's not an energy that's frustrating. It may have been in the past. I'm really focused more on the idea that this week you're acknowledging the growth that you're seeing. Maybe there was someone who was very selfish and they stop being that way this week, or you start to see the growth in them this week and you're like, oh wow, no, they're actually being a lot more generous than I gave them credit for. Maybe you are being more generous this week than you have been in the past, and it's really showing. You're really seeing it. You can really believe in it. The underlying energy, what is supporting this? We have the Nine of Pentacles here supporting the Knight of Pentacles. A lot of times when I say this fast, I can't tell if I'm saying Nine of Pentacles or Knight of Pentacles. So the Knight and the Nine. But the Nine of Pentacles is all about liberation, freedom, being rewarded. It's about tending to your garden. So it can be about a glow up. So the divine masculine energy this week, I think is seeing the tending to the garden really paying off. So your mind is starting to really realize that everything you've been doing to if you've been taking better care of your body, nourishing it more, moving it more, saying loving things to yourself more, if you've been setting boundaries in a more loving way for yourself, if you've been saying no as a full sentence, those kind of things, you're starting to be able to acknowledge that it is really functioning to make you look really good, really irresistible. Like people are complimenting you. They're paying attention to you in ways that you haven't seen them pay attention to you before. Maybe you're getting more people in your live streams. Maybe you're getting more people coming to your events or purchasing your products, or there's something about taking care of yourself and putting in the time and the investment of energy that is really rewarding this week. And I love to see that. I'm also seeing in terms of romance, if you're here to find out information about a connection with somebody, that it feels very stable right now. There is this sense that it is perceived as being a stable, steady, reliable connection. And there's a feeling of freedom here. There isn't a feeling of being chained down or locked down. There's a feeling of freedom and ease. And the time and investment and energy that's been put into that relationship is paying off. And it looks like it is really bringing out the best in both of you. So, what's supporting this Nine of Cups? We have the King of Swords here. And this King of Swords is a female King of Swords. A feminine energy is embodied here. This deck has both masculine and feminine kings. So, it is worthy to note that it is a feminine energy. What it means for me usually is that you're letting your emotions take the lead. The wishes that you have a desire to be fulfilled, some of the selfish energy, when selfish energy is good, like when you think taking time is selfish and you realize, oh no, taking time for myself was the best choice that I made. You're letting how you feel take the lead and weave a plan or a strategy so that your mind can follow a plan or a strategy that's really in alignment with your heart. In connections with another person, the masculine energy may be taking its lead from the feminine and how the feminine constructs her life, how she expresses herself, how she communicates directly, how she implements the strategies that she lays out, how she stays consistent, and how she weaves her dreams using that constant guidance she has, the intuition she has. And I think the masculine energy is really valuing that in the feminine this week. What are you carrying in from last week? So the divine masculine is carrying this Ace of Pentacles in from last week. Now, this is an interesting card. Okay, so this is the front of the card. This is the vice versa tarot. Obviously, there's two sides. The front is showing this beautiful garden, the sunlight. It's a magical, but for some reason, when I put this card down, I put it down so that the back of it was showing, even though I really didn't have to do that. But I chose to do that for some reason. So I think that's poignant because in this case, we're seeing the world, the material world. We're seeing people, other people. There's like whatever it is that this person is doing, looks like they're bouncing this pentacle almost like a juggling act. They're doing it in front of people. Everyone can see it. Whereas on this side, this looks like something that's more in a private space. And so what I think is interesting is that this week it does seem that what is being brought in is the desire to get what you're due or to give what someone else is due in a way that other people can acknowledge it. So it's almost giving a Six of Wands to me where there's public recognition. It's like, look at everything I'm doing. Look at all I'm offering. Look at this material thing that I have to offer you. And there's this desire there for other people to see it and acknowledge it. This also might be, it almost looks like a bank in the background here, like a desire to, I was hearing invest. And that makes a lot of sense because the overall energy of that Knight of Pentacles is an investment. So the desire to like bring this pentacle into the public eye and invest in some way to show that you have been investing. I'm also seeing an opening up to receive from others. There can also be that feeling too of like, okay, I'm ready to receive, and you're bringing in that readiness to receive from others, which is good. That can also be to give an offer to somebody too. In a romantic situation, it can be, I want to make a gesture to you. I want to plant a seed that will grow into something more with you. I want to build something with you. Divine feminine energy, what are you carrying in from last week? We have the Four of Cups. So I'm seeing a bit of disappointment about missed opportunities carried in this week. There is a feeling of wanting to protect yourself from that experience, the rejection experience. With the Ace of Pentacles coming out and the Four of Cups coming out, it's almost like in the past when you received these pentacles, it just disappointed you, or there was somebody that was missing an opportunity to bring you something and actually give you something that you could plant. So for some, we're seeing rejection wounds being carried into this week, and it might be valuable to look at those wounds and process through them. For others, it is you're disappointed because you're waiting for someone to give you the money, to show you the money. That's something that's you have been waiting for someone else to show you the money. And that's never a good feeling because you're not doing anything. In the Four of Cups, you're just sitting. This is, sometimes we associate this card with the evil term lazy, which I do not like that term. I don't think it's an accurate statement about most of us. Most of us just really need rest, whether that's mental or physical. And I really don't like the idea that you can, if you take the time to rest or you do what you need to do, that you're being labeled as like socially inept in that capacity. So some of you may have felt like you really haven't done anything to receive what you need, or the person in your life who you're waiting for them to give you something, they really haven't done what they need to give you what you're desiring. In your current energy, I'm seeing the Knight of Swords, and this is the opposite of the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Swords is literally going in the opposite direction, rushing in. When it's in shadow, it can be a reckless energy, although I'm not seeing this card particularly in its shadow at the moment. I do feel that there is like this stepping into the light element from this card, clearing up confusion and doing it quickly. So if there was a lot of confusion for you last week, or you had uncertainty, you didn't understand why things that you had been dreaming about, hoping for, fantasizing about, just really were not coming through in a tangible way. Look at how this is not touching the hand. It's almost like you could almost get it, but it just wasn't there, and you're just kind of confused about that. There's something that's coming in that's going to really wipe away that confusion this week. Or you're very clear about why last week didn't go the way that you wanted, and you know what you need to do, and you know that you need to go directly for it and communicate directly what you want. That's the energy of the masculine. The energy of the feminine, the current energy, is the Tower, holding on to this crumbling edifice. This does not look easy to do. It also doesn't look like she's going to be very successful in this endeavor. And it looks like she's quite vulnerable. She's not wearing any clothes. We're kind of concerned about whether or not she's going to get burnt, hurt by all of this debris that is falling. So what I'm seeing is the masculine is quickly responding to the threat of losing everything that he was building. Okay. So the masculine energy is wanting to give this to you. And there is this need to quickly implement the strategy that the King of Swords actually. So the King of Swords, the Queen of Swords creates the strategy. The King of Swords is the one who goes and, think of Game of Thrones with the big table with all of the different cities on it, and they have like the different strategies of war. The King of Swords goes and looks over that and says, okay, I know exactly how to proceed. And then he goes to the soldiers and he's like, you go here, you do this, you do that, you do that. So the supporting energy of this week is that there is this There is something that is telling you, you do this, you do that, you do this, and you're obeying it. The divine masculine energy is doing what they're told. They are actually carrying through with the plan that they have had, because of the threat of losing or having something crumble that they've worked really hard for. And also, I think that's a part of both you and that other person's wish fulfillment. Or if it's just you, it's something that you've been wishing for and you are not going to let it crumble. Um, if you do nothing, if you don't take any of the advice that we get from the cards, if you stay exactly as you are right now, where is this taking you? So we are getting the Eight of Cups for the divine masculine energy. This is the energy of returning, coming home, or leaving and going away. But either way, it's heading towards the sun and moon together, which is, generally speaking, the balance between the head and the heart. And it's like heading in the direction of your true calling. So going home to your true calling is something that I feel is here. And it can also be giving up and walking away from something that you were trying to keep together, because the divine feminine is coming at us here with the Five of Wands, which is showing me this struggle. And the Five of Wands is about competition. It's about beating the competition. It's about having being stuck or paused, or you know feeling like there's all these puzzles that you have to solve in order to move forward, and you just feel overwhelmed by it, and it's very difficult. And of course, after you overcome this Five of Wands, you end up at the Six of Wands, which is that victory and the public recognition that I was talking about before. What I'm seeing is that the masculine energy, the headspace, is moving away from any desire to continue to play games, um, to just be in a childish energy also, because there is, on the back of this card, there's a small inner child. This card is showing me that the masculine energy is really probably having abandonment wounds triggered and come up for them, and that has sort of fed into a lot of their behaviors or your behaviors in the past. And you're walking away from the need to have like people fighting over you, or having like so many options, or just constantly having to struggle to feel alive. Like I was thinking today, when I started thinking about how I didn't really want to listen to tarot readings about my person anymore, I didn't know what I would do for the rest of the day, because that's the thing that I do, like when I'm occupied in the kitchen, or sitting out on the porch and letting Bowie get some sun, or it's this thing that accompanies me throughout the day. And obviously, I mean, you're watching me, so you know what I'm talking about. And the problem was not with listening to tarot readings, it was the type of reading I was listening to, which was really just satisfying my ego and not really teaching me anything. I really wasn't learning anything from it. I was just kind of getting what I already knew. And it was just this constant, like, yeah, that's true. It wasn't a good feeling. But I didn't know what to fill in all of the time with today. I read more. I read my book more. I was more mindful, actually. And I listened actually to something about Hashimoto syndrome, which I suffer from, which gave me some information that was really vital today that actually is helping my health. And I was thinking about all the hours I had wasted listening to all of those different readings that were like, the kind of titles that's like, this person can't sleep without you. This person is like saying stuff to their friends. Those are the kind of titles of the things I would listen to, which is funny, I'm sure, since I'm obviously the first one to tell you, like, if that's what you're doing, that's what you're getting. But physician, heal thyself, right? So I do see that you're leaving behind anyone who's just going to play games. You're like, I want people to be straightforward, to the point, say what they want, actually do what they say. I don't want any more energy of like tit for tat. This is a game. It's like, no, I'm not interested in that anymore. I find other ways to occupy my mind. And in some cases, this person that has been wanting to give you this pentacle and perhaps withholding it, they now see very clearly that they're going to lose you to someone else who's able to show up with the pentacle. And they don't want to risk that. So rather than risk that, they're going to come home and they're going to offer you something and hope that they beat out the competition. That's what I'm seeing. If you're here for week ahead reading in terms of a connection with somebody, that's what I'm saying. You are getting a protection message this week. We're going to do the oracles now and the healing energy. So now this is the stuff where we take this advice and we do these things and we shift our mindset into a mindset that's more of the receiving mode that we were seeking here with that Ace of Pentacles. If you like where you're going, you don't have to do anything. But if you don't like where you're going, if you want where you're going to be a little bit different, you do need to shift your energy. So you're getting the protection message from Dog Spirit. It says, be loyal to what you love. It'd be cool if I grabbed the correct book. There we go. And it is number 19. It says, loyalty to people and situations can turn into attachment that results in stagnation, enmeshment, and loss of integrity. What did I say? I started out this day with it. That's literally what I was saying. It was constantly going and listening to readings about this one person, the loyalty to that person, that it represents an attachment and it results in stagnation. Do you fear what will happen if you let a relationship evolve? Are you afraid that asking for a situation to change will make others see you as disloyal? Trust that when Dog Spirit appears, you are meant to accept the turning of the wheel of life and the changing of fortunes. If you feel you are being betrayed or are growing apart from someone, let Dog Spirit reconnect with your commitment to love in all its forms. Perhaps a relationship is meant to evolve. Perhaps you are meant to evolve too, so that you can experience the growth for which your soul yearns. Your greatest loyalty is to love, so be open to all its many guises, including self-love. You deserve the best, and that is what Spirit wants for you. It shouldn't be hard to imagine a person at your side that is loving and loyal and kind and compassionate and caring, because you are that way. And if you're that way, then someone else can be like you. There's so many people I meet in this business where, people book a reading with me. It's 4:44 on the clock when I'm saying this. People book a reading with me and I will talk to them for a few minutes and be like, how are we so similar? How is your experience just like mine? You're from a totally different place. Sometimes they're from a totally different background than me. And somehow we have all of this alignment in the stories that we share. If that's the case, that means one of those people that has the same problem that I have, where you're giving and you're compassionate and you're caring and you're empathetic and all of these things, and the person that you're trying to give that to doesn't receive it, there's the potential for that type of person, that giving and kind and loving person that matches you, to match with you. But there's part of you, I think, that buys into the rhetoric of what people are like, insert gender here. This is what men are like. This is what women are like. This is what whatever is like. And it becomes hard for you to imagine a scenario where you could actually have found somebody who can approach you with the same kind of loyalty and love and connection that you put out into the world. And I just want to encourage you to keep believing and keep having faith that exists. I think about, we have two dogs in my household. My own dog, Bowie, who's a husky shepherd mix, and my parents' dog, Spike, which is, he's like a shepherd lab mix. And what I say about dogs is that they are eternally hopeful creatures. It does not matter how many times I have said to Spike, the older dog, that I will not give him food when he's in the kitchen and ask him to go into the other room, because he will come in the kitchen and he will stand there and look at me. And I'll be like, no, there's no food. Go lay down. And then he'll go in the other room and lay down, and he'll peek into the kitchen, hoping, even though I have never, ever given him something, hoping today, she's going to give me something. So I want you to remain eternally hopeful, because there's nothing wrong with being eternally hopeful. In fact, it's a sign of a pure heart, because I don't think there's any heart purer than a dog's heart. Um, this is the card you're getting today from my beautiful human spirit oracle. It says against the clock. Now, this is interesting because we had both the Knight of Pentacles and the Knight of Swords, which represent cards that both deal with the time. One with things moving very slowly, one with things moving very fast. And we did already have an against the clock energy come up in this Knight of Swords Tower energy, where the Knight of Swords really needs to come forward and do something quick to prevent this tower from falling. So I feel that that's probably an important message right now for you. There's something that you need to get clear about, or you are clear about, and you because this is your current energy. You're clear about this already. You're clear about what it is that you need to do to keep this tower from falling. And it might be that you have to walk away from these behaviors where you were not doing anything when you should be doing something. You were sitting here dreaming, fantasizing, hoping instead of actually moving. You might need to walk away from that. You might need to start to be more competitive in your life, to like get out there and stick your neck out there and try to get things that you desire, instead of being afraid that there's other people that are going to get it before you, or whatever it is. This card says, time flies when you are having fun. Well, ain't this the truth? Time is a strange thing. Some people say life is short, but it is the longest thing we'll ever do. Are you procrastinating? Perhaps you have a deadline that needs to be met, and you have waited until you are fighting with time to get things completed. What do you mean, my song being released on Friday and I didn't do any of the things I needed to do? Oh God, it's fine. I'm reading myself to filth. It's fine. Time is precious, so use it wisely. Do what needs to be done so you can enjoy the moments in between to the fullest without stressing your time crunch. Wow, I needed to hear that. The reverse of this card, so this alternately, this card can mean, are you trying to cram so much into your days that you are not fully enjoying anything? Again, do what must get done and then take time to lavish yourself. Perhaps be lazy. There's that word I don't like. Read a book, do something creative, or commune with nature. Enjoy the time you get as well doing what must be done. Remember, life is not measured by the number of breaths we take, but by the moments that take our breath away. So take advantage of the free time by having some fun. So you have to figure out where you rest in that, on that spectrum. Are you resting a little too much, or are you not really resting enough, or are you resting too much but not really resting because you're so stressed about the things that aren't getting done? Because that's what's happening for me. Like, my car's still not paid for, I'm still getting emails about it, and I'm still resting, but I also don't know exactly what to do. So sometimes I think when you're not certain about what to do, when you don't have clarity, that might kind of cause you to just come to this halt and not be able to move with that, and just be like, I'm not sure. You might feel overwhelmed. You might feel scared. I had a dream where I was climbing up the stairs and the stairs started crumbling, and I was with my sister on the staircase, and we were clinging onto the banister at the top of the staircase. And I said, I'm really scared. Like, I was like, I'm scared. I don't know what to do. And I said that. So, acknowledge that sometimes fear is what makes it difficult for you to move forward, and that's okay. Imagine that you were your own child, or a younger sibling, or just a child that you were in charge of, and they're scared. They're scared. They want to go, they want to jump in the water of the pool like everyone else, but they're really, really scared. And I want you to think about how you would treat them. Would you be like, oh, stupid, just jump in. You're so dumb. It's going to be fine. I mean, I guess some parents would do that. Or would you be like, it's okay. Look, let's put our feet in. Let's put our toes in first and we'll just feel the water. Be like, ooh, it's cold. It's cold. But isn't it interesting if you leave your feet in, it starts to warm up and then start to distract them. You start to kind of ease them in. And then finally, you just help them to get in the water fully. And then eventually, you start to encourage them to jump. Maybe you jump first. Maybe you show them how it's done. But you're kind, I'm sure. Aren't you? You're that type of person. Maybe you hate kids and you're not like that. So picture something else. But picture somebody that's scared of something and how you would act. You wouldn't be mad at them. You wouldn't be, maybe you would feel frustrated because they're holding you up. But even though you felt frustrated by it, I think that you would still have empathy for them. And you would understand that it's not going to make them any less scared if you're screaming at them. Like, come on, you fucking idiot. Like, they're literally not going to take their fear away. And you know that logically. So why then would you approach your own fear of something with that same sort of frustration and intolerance and make yourself feel worse and make yourself even less likely to try to overcome whatever it is that you're afraid of? We're getting this card from the Seed and Sickle Tarot, the Foxglove. And when I get a reverse on them, I read from the Dusk guidebook. There's a dawn and a dusk. And when it's in reverse, I do the dusk. So let's do that. Foxglove number 18. So I believe this is a springtime energy, which would be our current energy. Let me just check. Yeah, this is springtime. So let's look at spring first. So you have a sense of what spring is. Or wait, is it summer? Am I wrong? I might be. Yep, it's summer energy. Never mind. So it's just coming up then. During the summer, the entire world is full of potential. The sun is at its highest. The nights are at their shortest, and even in the darkest hours, the air is balmy and clear. The busy growing period of spring is done, and plants are in full bloom, producing the buds and branches that will bear their harvests come fall. All of the preparation for the year ahead is done, but now is the time to use those foundations to make real change. Cards in the summer suit represent exploration, fullness, freedom, and self-acceptance. They are cards of celebration and creation. In the season just gone, you set the direction of your path and chose which roads you would follow. Now is the season to enjoy the journey. So keep that in mind. The foxglove is one of the plants said to protect a babe against being replaced by a fairy changeling child. Perhaps you feel as though you do not recognize yourself anymore or the path that your life is taking, but it's not too late to grab hold of that stranger and banish them. Indulge in a pastime you haven't picked up for a while, or take a walk down a familiar road to remind yourself of who you used to be. Or perhaps you like this new self that has emerged and want to embrace it. It is natural to change and grow, and so can your own identity. And that's something I already talked about today, so that's really valuable to me. I feel like part of my identity has been waiting for someone, and I don't want that to be my identity anymore. So I don't want to try to perpetuate the things that keep myself in that state where I'm just waiting. And the final card we have, this is the activity you should be doing this week. It is to meditate. And I don't remember actually which card came out for the week ahead I'm trying to think. Usually I can remember it for yesterday. You'll have to go watch, not the week ahead, but the love reading. The reading I did yesterday, there's a card I pulled up, and whenever I know, it was the sex card. So anytime you engage in the activity, which from yesterday's card, and that can be a solo experience. It does not have to be with a partner. But every time you do that, when that card comes out as our self-care activity for the week, it means that your intentions surrounding it will be imbued with more power. So if you meditate this week, whatever intention you have for this week, which, maybe is to work on that against the clock energy. When you meditate, it is magically helping to support you in that energy. It's like as effective as, let's say what you're working on is getting things done that you've been avoiding. When you meditate this week, it has the power to honestly bring you what you would get if you were getting things done, which is interesting because this card is also about meditation, the Four of Cups. There's meditating with intention, and then there is just sitting there and not really doing anything and kind of stewing over everything. Like if you go into meditation and all you do is like think about all the things that you desire and all the things you don't have and all your worries and all your stresses, then that's what you're getting. But if you meditate this week with a clear mind, if you go into it with a clear mindset and with the intention that this is healing your rejection wounds, healing your abandonment wounds, meditation is helping you to figure out exactly what direction to go in. It's giving you clarity. That will be what this self-care activity will do for you this week. Your mantra is, I am at peace. Find a comfortable seat in a quiet place and close your eyes as you sit in stillness. Listen as you inhale and exhale and allow your mind to settle so you can take a journey inward and upward. Meditation can be that simple. Although there are many approaches, the main goal is to empty the mind and become an observer of your thoughts, allowing them to enter and leave without attachment, labeling, or judgment. Starting with just 5 minutes in the morning or the evening can lay the foundation for a daily meditation practice and create significant shifts in perspective. As you begin to see the benefits, you can go more in depth with your practice, incorporating guided meditations, breath work, or classes in different modes of meditation to see which resonates with you the most. Your journal prompt is, what blocks, real or imagined, prevent you from meditating? What practical steps can you take toward removing these blocks? So that's the self-care activity for this week, and the journal prompt and the mantra, I am at peace, which is interesting because the Nine of Cups is about getting everything you've wished for. The Nine of Pentacles is about stability. And it's like, not only are you getting everything you wish for, but it's stable. It's not going anywhere. It's sticking around. It's not going to be fickle or fleeting. And if you can pause in that energy of the Knight of Pentacles or the energy of the Four of Cups, if you can pause and use that to your advantage instead of feeling like there's nothing happening and it feels like a disadvantage, then you're shifting your energy, which is really powerful. So that is the collective reading that I have for you this week. If you would like your own reading right now, I will do 1 free card polls for anybody who is wanting that. If you would like more than that, you can click the link in my profile, or if you're watching on YouTube, you can go into the description box below, go to turnedintarot.com, and there you will find Venmo, PayPal, or Cash App, and send $22 or more, and I will do an in-depth reading for you. But if you would just prefer to have 1 card pull, this is your chance to do it now. And I normally go over to TikTok, but since I'm doing YouTube live today and I see there's a few people in the room, I will stay on YouTube as I'm doing the 1 card pulls. And if there's nobody that wants a 1 card, I will move it along. Martha Kathleen, yes, absolutely, I will give you 1 card. Okay, you know what? I want a different deck, though. I want a different deck. Let me put these away here. Actually, this meditation card I'm leaving out. I like to leave the week ahead card out so that I remember to do it. And let's see. I will use this Newman Tarot. The White Newman Tarot. This is a cool deck. You're welcome. Do you have a specific question, or do you just want me to pull 1 card like a general energy? And of course, anybody over here on TikTok who would like their a 1 card pull, just go ahead and put your question in the comments. Okay. general or new work. Okay. Let's see. For Martha. What do we have for Martha today? Oh, we have the Four of Wands coming out for you. So this is a card about stable, healthy connections, relationships, foundations. It can be about reuniting and celebrating. It can be about committing to something, being engaged. And it's interesting because I'm seeing two, it looks like sisters or twins traveling together. And you see them here under this canopy of the trees, which gives us the 1111 energy, which is why this card can sometimes be associated with a divine counterpart or soul connection. Wands are energy of ideas, inspiration. They're exciting. They're fiery and powerful. And in terms of new work coming, it's showing me something very stable and healthy. And something where you would most likely have a good relationship with the person that you worked with, or the people that you work with. Although we're just seeing these two individuals here, so it's almost like um, maybe it's a smaller like company or business, or maybe it's supporting someone else's business, or maybe there are two people that go into business together and like you're one of those people. um I see one arm protecting this other person, so I'm getting a sense of someone guiding you or helping you. And if this is in terms of love or connection, it could be that a really stable, healthy relationship is coming in for you this week. Something that feels really good, really supportive, which I mean, I don't hate that either. Or maybe if you currently have a relationship, you're going to feel like more supported by your partner, or you're going to feel like there's just this solid, stable foundation that you have with this person is really going to help you to be able to like celebrate the good things in life, because that's kind of coming through with the Four of Wands energy as well. So I hope that gave you some insight. Thank you for being here. If you want a deeper reading, you can click that link below, turnedintarot.com, and you can see I have yes or no questions and video recorded readings if you want, if you have more than one question to ask. And there's also the intuitive guidance call, which is on sale for 50% off right now. And that is a 60 to 90 minute Zoom call with me. Starlight, absolutely. One card for Starlight. I'm seeing over here too. I've been feeling spirit telling me that a surprise gift is coming in. Could you pull one card? Absolutely, Alchemy. I can do that. All right, let me grab Starlights just because I happen to see that one first. Oh, very interesting. So we already got this card today in this main reading. I don't know if you were here for the whole collective reading. If not, you might want to go back and watch it. But this card already came out today in the reading. So it probably means that reading was significant for you. It was the card of the current energy. This tower is interesting because it almost has a Three of Swords energy. If you look at this person's being pierced by these three arrows, which is almost like feeling like heartbreak or heart pain or separation. But the tower ultimately is about releasing something. It's about things crumbling and falling, but the things that are crumbling and falling away, you weren't meant to have those. They weren't meant to be permanent. They're not serving you. And once you recognize it, even though it may be painful, you can finally just let it go. You can finally just release it. This can be limiting beliefs, any ideas that are keeping you stuck or stagnant, which is something that keeps coming up in the collective. It can be a person. It can be another person who has wounded you, finally being able to let them go. Or it can be sometimes another person letting us go, which can be very painful. But if it's always for our highest good, the tower being the highest building, it is for our highest good, whatever it is. It can be a little bit chaotic, but the thing about the tower is that it swiftly comes through and kind of gives us a smack, and then makes space or room for what it is that we've been asking for to finally come in. So I hope that helps you. Now let me get alchemies. I've been feeling spirit telling me a surprise gift is coming. Could you pull one card to look at it? Well, if it's a surprise, then I doubt spirit's going to give me much information about it. But let's just take a look and see what they're willing to tell me. So I definitely think it's something that you're asking for, because it is the Two of Wands. And the Two of Wands is a card about going and asking for something, and then having to trust that it's going to be given to you, which is usually difficult. And this is a Mars and Aries card. It's restless. I don't know if you have any Aries friends. My sister is an Aries, and I have a few Aries friends. I used to be married to an Aries. There is definitely a restlessness and impatience that can come with this card. The Two of Wands can be about a journey with someone else. There's a snake around this person, around their neck. And the thing is, any of the creatures in this card, this is the White Newman Tarot. So whenever there is a White Newman like this snake right here, it's significant. It's something that's like, it's a spirit animal that's basically with you right now. And the snake represents transformation, shedding skin, something new. So it could be that you're going to meet someone new that you've been asking for and start a journey together. It could also be about somebody that has sort of felt like something that's around your neck, like suffocating or confining, like waiting for this to work out, or it's just been kind of frustrating. That could be changing. That is what could be transforming about this person that you've been restless in regards to. Or maybe there's someone restless in regards to you that's finally wanting to do something. But the thing about the Two of Wands, though, is that you don't really get to that until you get to the Five of Wands. You have to go through the Three of Wands, which is when you see it. And the Three of Wands in some ways is the hardest, because it's like this card, you couldn't see it. So you try to do what you could. You planned, you strategized, you tried to like figure it out. You tried to ask, what is the surprise? What's going to happen? Whatever. But the Three of Wands, you can see the ships, and you have to stand there and wait until they come into port, and until they allow people to come up onto the ships and take the stuff off of the ships. And like, you can see it. It's almost very tantalizing of an experience to be in the Three of Wands. And it requires a lot of patience, because you're very excited about what you see, but you can't yet arrive until you get to the Four of Wands, where you have that stability to be able to like take what you're getting from the Three of Wands and actually have a foundation with it. So whatever is coming in, it probably indicates that you're still going to have to be patient around it, but it'll be a little bit easier because you can see the finish line, and know that you're heading in that direction. Whereas in the Two of Wands, you can't quite see it yet. And it's a little hard to just sit there and have to like understand that the second that you stop trying and working at it and trying to make it flow, that's when you really receive what it is that you've been asking for. So that's the magic of that card. But thank you so much for being here. Thank you for asking a question. If anyone else would like a one card pull, I'd be more than happy to do that. If you want a deeper reading, Venmo, PayPal, or Cash App, $22 at turnedintarot.com, or the link in my bio, or the link in the description box below, and I will go ahead. Thank you so much for your time and wisdom. That completely resonates. Patience, the thing you need to work on. Well, patience is on it's something that exists when you're just it's like a fear-based energy. Like, something is going to screw this up, so it's not going to work out. Something is going to get in the way, so it won't happen. I won't make it. I'll be too tired, sad, lonely, whatever, before I'll be able to have the thing or accomplish the thing. Or that's usually what drives impatience. And so, if you can look at the fear that's causing you to be in such a rush and just address the fear, that's when you can start to become a lot more peaceful surrounding whatever it is that you're waiting for. But listen, nobody's perfect, and you are definitely not expected to be. And there are days when I walk around and I am very patient and I'm present in the present moment and I'm petting Bowie and we're going outside and I'm like, oh, it's beautiful and everything's hunky dory. And then there are days when I wake up and I'll be like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, we've been waiting for so goddamn long. I literally can't deal anymore, you know? So you're gonna go back and forth in and out of that energy. That's totally normal. And I think the more time you spend in the present moment, sorry, just so dry. Listen, the more time you spend in the present moment, the more likely you are to be able to be in that energy of patience. I'm seeing someone has sent a donation. I would love to do your reading. I'm not exactly sure which one you are on. If you're TikTok or YouTube, probably TikTok. Let me know what your question is in the comments and what you want me to call you, because I realize sometimes people do not want to be called by the name that I see in my Cash App. So let me know what I should call you and what your question is. And I will start to shuffle for it right now. Alchemy Alignment says, totally feel that it ebbs and flows. Hi, Ketki. Is it Ketki? That's a cool name. Ketki. Tamakar. Ketki. What is your question? And thank you so much for the donation. I really, really needed it today, like you wouldn't believe. So I do appreciate that. So I'm going to do 3 cards for you and check on the energy. And sometimes I have to clarify, but usually 3 cards is good. But what is your question? Can't hear your guides. Keep getting guidance for my partner. Why? Interesting. Okay, let's take a look. Can't hear my guides recently. You keep getting guidance for your partner, but not yourself, or about your partner. Can you clarify that for me? I'm just seeing. I just wanted to see if you had anything more to add before I start. It feels like the readings I'm doing have to do with his energy instead of mine. Ah, okay. I already know the answer to that without looking at the cards. The cards are definitely clarifying that for me also. So, his energy is your energy. And probably what's missing is how his energy is your energy. Okay, let's see what the cards say first, and we'll get a little bit more into it. The first card that's coming out is the Fool card. This is the energy of being fully supported when you take a leap, throwing caution to the wind. It's also the energy of having a completely blank slate, starting fresh, having a new beginning. And it's starting a journey, beginning a journey. This is from the past placement. So this is the energy that you're carrying into the present moment. And it's the energy of being open and kind of naive, like, not jaded, right? Like you're not jaded about the messages that are going to come through. You're not like, you don't already have your own idea about, like, when you ask a question, you're completely uncertain. Like you don't have any idea already in your mind. It's just, I don't know. It's completely like, I'm blank. I'm completely open to any message that I'm hearing. Okay. That seems like a positive thing to take into any kind of conversation you're having with your guides or with your intuition, where you're not trying to like bring your ego mind's stories into that process of channeling messages or the energy that you're receiving. The card that comes up next is this King of Pentacles, which is in reverse. And this is showing me that you have this. This is like, when I see a card in reverse, it can, a couple things, I interpret it in a couple different ways. It can be there's less of this energy. It can be you're releasing this energy. It can be that you are, that this, like the person that we're talking about, if we were talking about a person, might be in the shadowy traits of the card. Those are some ways that can be read. But one of the ways that I also read these cards is when it suggests internal versus external energy. And so, like I said, when you're reading these, when you're doing these readings, or you're communicating with your guides, what's happening is you're picking up on the internal masculine energy that is within you. And when you are thinking of your person, you are then observing how that energy from within expresses externally. And a lot of times people will fight me on that, because they'll be like, okay, but my person, this is the biggest one that I always get, is my person cheated on me and I would never cheat on somebody. So that's not reflective of my energy. And I'll be like, okay, that's true. I believe that you would be loyal. I do believe that you would not cheat on somebody. I absolutely believe that. But there could be ways, and not there could be, there are ways that you are cheating on yourself. There are ways that you are not being committed to yourself, the ways that you are stepping out on you. And one of the ways in which we do that is when we focus so much on someone else that we lose our own sense of self and our own, really our mental picture idea that we need to have of our worthiness and our value. And a lot of times we will see the other person's interactions with us in reality, in 3D, as confirmation or validation of our worthiness. So one thing that might be happening is, it may be easier for you to understand your masculine energy through that connection with someone else. It may also be easier for you to empathize, to work with another energy, and to like let it take up space than it is for you to let yourself take up space. And so you might be not hearing your guides about yourself, but you might be so focused on that person that that's the first thing that pops into your mind. But the good news is that you can learn a lot from everything you're understanding about your person. And I'll show you how to do that in just a moment. The final card that's coming up here is the Judgment card. And the Judgment card is all about, it can be about forgiveness and compassion and rebirth and salvation. I really think it's interesting that she's making this gesture to her forehead, which is like the third eye, because you're literally asking about your communication with your guides, and that's the seat of, where we kind of experience that. So there is maybe how do I want to phrase this? I was going to say a chance, but that's not quite the word I want. Basically, you might be being critical of the messages that come through. Like, it might be very difficult for you to really get messages about yourself because of the judgment that you have towards yourself. Like, you might have this voice in you that is harsher, or like not as open to receive messages that would be positive. I know for me personally, I don't really read for myself very often. I will pull a few cards now and again, but I tend to go to, like, Lady Luna is one of my best friends, and we both read for each other. And I will, if I have a question, sometimes I will tend to go to her, because I do know that even though I'm a gifted reader and I can read for pretty much anyone, that when it comes to reading for myself, I will tend to either look at, like, I'll get three cards and be like, oh my God, everything's great. Or I'll look at the three cards and be like, oh, this is horrible. I guess I should just give up, you know? So I think it's not that unusual to sort of learn more about what's going on with you by how someone else is acting. And so I'm going to just show you really quickly how to do this. So we're going to pull a couple cards about your person, and I'll show you both stories. And this is something you can practice in your practice. All right. Page of Wands just came out with the Justice card. So not knowing anything about this person, one thing I can say already, they probably don't have the most mature communication skills in the world. And they may be sort of, there may be the spark, they might be kind of flighty. They might like show initial interest or excitement, but it might be hard for them to sustain that interest or excitement. This can be about wanting to initiate or start a conversation. It can also be about wanting to explore or be adventurous. And then the Justice card is about things being balanced, things being fair. So one thing I'm seeing here is there could be this perception that you might have that your person, I don't know if they have trouble with initiating, or you feel you might have to take on the burden of initiation in the connection, something about that, something that doesn't seem quite fair to you. There could also be like apologies that need to be said, or something, because with the sword we've got like a painful truth, and they might like beat around the bush in the Page of Wands energy instead of coming out and speaking it directly. Okay, so I don't know if that applies to your person, but what I want to show you is how, if that's what happened, if I pulled these cards and I was like, yeah, my person needs to initiate a conversation, needs to come forward and like make this right between us, and that's what I'm seeing in the cards, I could be like, okay, in what way in my life do I need to be more consistent, or be more adventurous, or explore more, or start a conversation? In what way do I need to do justice to myself? Maybe I need to explore my options a little more. Maybe I need to make sure I'm being fair to myself, because I don't know if that's exactly true in this situation where I just have this, here's a great example. I want to release my track next Friday. I'm very excited about it. I'm really energetic about it. But when I go to do it, I have only taken these really small, kind of insignificant steps. And it's all like spontaneous. Like, oh, I'll post about it now. I'll post about it now. I don't have a plan. I don't have a strategy. I tried to make that, but I just didn't feel like I was really going to stick with it. So I didn't. And now I feel like I'm not doing justice to the release of my track. So maybe if you look at your readings and you get the reading and you get the information and it's about your person, I want you to ask yourself, okay, in what way do I do this in my life, in some area of my life? Because there is always going to be a parallel for whoever's outside of you reflecting your energy back to you. So I hope that helps you. Fascinating. Every difficult conversation we have is initiated by me. He tends to internalize. There you go. Okay. So then let's look at that. If your issue is that every conversation is initiated by you and he tends to internalize, then in what way do you internalize and let other people initiate things on your behalf, when it would really behoove you to step up and initiate something for yourself? So for me, what this is showing me is maybe you have a passion that you're supposed to pursue. Like for me, I talked about my music. Maybe there is something that you are very passionate about, some creative thing, creative endeavor, something emotional, something like that, that you haven't started. You haven't started doing it. You've thought about it. You want it, There's part of you that's always wanted it, but you don't initiate. You just kind of let other people tell you what to do or where to go, and you kind of ignore your own desire to go and explore in the way that you want to go and explore. So that might be, that person is showing you how you maybe struggle with that initiation in some other aspect of life, because in terms of the relationship, you got it down. You are able to start that conversation. Where aren't you able to start a conversation? With a parent, with a friend, at work, in your career? Like, where is it that you have trouble starting a conversation? I know that it would behoove me to collaborate with other people. All I would have to do to collaborate with people is initiate that. I need to send my music and say, hey, this is the music that's coming out. Would you do a TikTok dance video to it? Would you like to make some art and post it with your video? Would you like, but I don't initiate those conversations, right? So where in your life is that happening for you? But that's how I do it. And I think that's actually what all tarot reading is. That's why I was saying at the beginning of my reading today that I don't want to listen to the types of readings I've been listening to anymore and thinking about my person, because by doing that, I'm staying stagnant. I'm not growing, because all I am doing is validating the experience I keep having. And I'm not shifting in any way, right? And I'm in a situation with my person where I really can't communicate with them. The avenues and means and ways in which I would communicate are cut off for me. So I don't have a way to start a conversation with that person. I don't have a way to dialogue with that person. And what that means is I need to change. Hang on a second. I have to respond to this text message. If anyone else would like a reading, okay. So yes, if there's anybody else who would like a reading, you can send $22 for an in-depth reading like the one that I just did, or you can just ask a question and I will do a one card pull for you. Whoa, how bizarre. I wasn't here for the beginning of your messages today. Thank you so much. How interesting that you were talking about a similar thing. I was. If you go to Tuned In Tarot YouTube, it's streaming right now, and you go all the way back to the beginning of the video, you'll see in the video that I did start the whole entire thing talking about how I wanted to stop listening to readings about my person and start acting as if I was already in the relationship that I wanted, that I already have the finances that I want when I'm listening to readings. So I can pretend that I'm listening to readings for something that I would desire. Like, okay, so let's say the best example I can use is that, like, right now I'm releasing my track. I would love for my track to be heard by lots of people. I would love for it to get licensed. I would love for it to appear in on playlists. I would love for other people to know about it and hear it. So rather than like pulling cards and asking, like, is my track going to be heard by anyone? Are there going to be people that like enjoy it? Are they going to love it? Maybe I would ask something about my track winning a Grammy because it's already been released and people already love it. So, or like I listen to it as in the next thing that I'm going to make. Like, what is the next thing? What is the next thing I'm going to receive? And that's what I'm listening for, because I keep approaching the reading as if I don't have the thing. And I want the reading to tell me that I have the thing. And then I want to leave the reading being like, okay, the reading said I have the thing, so I have the thing. But that's not what's happening. I'm leaving the reading and I'm like, well, I still don't have the thing. And then this next day I listen to it like, well, maybe today I'll have the thing. And then I leave the reading, I don't have the thing. So I want to shift that because I believe in the quantum field. And I believe that all of what we desire fills in as we think and as we observe and as we feel about the thoughts and observations that we're making. And that is what creates our reality. I believe that to be true, even though it is very frustrating to be able to actually work with energy that way. I do believe it's true. If everybody could do it and it was extremely simple and extremely easy to do and to control, there would be a lot of crazy shit going on all the time that probably wouldn't be great for everybody, to be honest. So I think that it takes skill. I think that it takes patience. I think that it takes wisdom. I think it takes you not wanting to constantly create things that your ego, like limiting yourself with your ego's desires, because your ego is so limiting. It only knows what it knows, and it takes a long time for it to learn like new things. So it's very difficult to like convince it that you are going to have what it is that it desires. It gets really stuck on that. And I'm trying to like find ways to change how I'm experiencing what I'm receiving. So we're trying this out. We're going to see how it goes. Thank you so much, everybody. Please go to the link in my profile. Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, any donations are welcome today. You can also book private readings there. And if you're feeling generous, please donate to my friend Saliha's campaign. She did find a job, which we're very excited about, but she does need to get through the next 2 weeks. She was taking care. She was a caregiver to for her mother. And while she did that, it put her in a very difficult financial position. And she's just trying to make it through this month so she can start her new job. So anything you can send her way would be so appreciated. And of course, anything you can send my way, also appreciated. And take advantage of the sale, because it's probably going to be gone. It definitely will not be there for the summer. So if you're wanting to get 2 readings for the price of 50% off of 1 reading, now is your chance. Literally, no one has taken advantage of this offer. I'm so surprised. I never do hour-long readings for $55. That's like unheard of. So please take advantage of that while you can. All right, everybody, I'm going to sign off on both YouTube, farewell YouTube, and TikTok. Thank you so much for being